Come on down. You're the next contestant on Price is Right Wrestling. No grand prizes this week. Let's just get to it. I'm John Wrighton with my review WWE NXT 2.0. There was nothing particularly egregious about this episode, but there just wasn't anything that really stood out. A few moments that were kind of interesting, but what happened to this once proud wrestling brand? I get that they're going back to the developmental phase and they're trying out new things, throwing shit at the walls, see what sticks. And sometimes that can work. This is on a cable broadcast network. If this is on the cock, which is where it should be, then it would make more goddamn sense. But nevertheless, we get a rundown of the women taking over the show last week that had quite a few good moments. Also had Wendy Choo Choo, the narcoleptic. I can't fucking stand that gimmick. It's absolutely loathsome and fucking ridiculous and embarrassing for professional wrestling. But nevertheless, it was cool to see so many women featured on the show. There are more women featured on this show. Not more than last week, but still they do continue the, not spring breakout tournament, but the women's breakout tournament. So, Carmelo Hayes and Tricky Ticky Williams say some stuff. They're going to whoop that trick, and I believe Hayes is still bout and he don't miss. I mean, I don't really know, but I'll say this much. Carmelo Hayes is a hell of a goddamn athlete, and Tricky Ticky Williams is definitely a good hype man for him. So then they took on Solo Sikoa and Cameron Grimes. Is Cameron Grimes going to go to the moon? Well, the match happened. It was a series of moves with a little bit of good storytelling. Can Solo Sikoa and Cameron Grimes get along before they get it on? Eventually, maybe, kind of. I was a little bit surprised to see Hayes take the pin. I'm kind of thinking that maybe him and Tricky Ticky Williams are going to get called up soon. But because I know that they're going to have, NXT in your house, which is going to be so goddamn great. I wonder if they're going to run that in CWC or they're going to try to run that elsewhere. Guarantee if they try to run it in anything other than, maybe a 2,000 seat building in Florida, they ain't going to sell it out. They may not even sell that out. But nevertheless. Solo wants the gold. And then Mackenzie Mitchell was all over this goddamn program. Not complaining one bit, by the way. She at least has personality. And good on her and Vic Joseph for getting engaged or possibly married. Whatever. Nevertheless, I'm glad those crazy kids found happiness. And she's with Pretty Deadly Blades of Glory. And I fucking can't. I can't. They're fine athletes. They can work. I'm sorry. I can't fucking do it. I can't. They look ridiculous to me. They look like they're pretending to be like, like male model wrestlers and everything. Even though they can work, it's just the presentation's stupid. So Thea Hale is ready to take over NXT 2.0. She's 18 years old and she's ready to train, but the first thing she's got to do is graduate high school next week. If anybody watching this video doesn't feel really goddamn old hearing that, well, I don't know what to say. Good on her, though, and I wish her nothing but success. And she's gonna train while she's doing college. Good for her. I think she was on an episode or two of Dark Elevation, if I recall correctly. I want to say Thunder Rosa had a hand in training her. I could be wrong, but I believe so. I think she was part of some Mission Pro Wrestling shows. Anyway, Lash Legend took on Tatum Paxley in a quarterfinal breakout women's tournament match. And Tatum seems like she has enough personality, like, you can bring it out of her. And she has a good look. That pre-tape was way too stagey. I was like, oh boy, they might as well have just been holding her at goddamn gunpoint to make her say that shit. Lash has the size and she has the personality. She's gonna need more time, but she's not that bad in the ring. Tatum did hit and run. She did get her knee focused on and kept trying to lift Lash, which would have been impressive had she been able to do it. And Lash eventually hits the big, pump knee, the big running boot. 1, 2, 3. Not quite like Test, but then again, well, Lash Legend's career is alive and well, unlike Test. Lash gets a victory. Okay. Tony D and his goons, I don't remember their names, I don't fucking care. Tony D'Angelo came in with a world of hype after all these vignettes, and now they made him the Don of NXT, and he wants to face Santos alone. Naturally, we know what's going to happen. We're going to get a big old fracas at the end. NXT returns to Florida. It returns, live to touring in Florida, and with this crew, good fucking luck. It's not that they're not trying, but the ratings have cascaded down. They've hurt inside, and good fucking... I know that ratings aren't everything, but the level of interest and the quick turnaround from fans saying, yeah, okay, we want to see this revamped to this is fucking bullshit. It's two halves. Some people like it, and that's fine. There are things I like about this revamp, but I'm in the camp of I fucking hate it generally. Because it's not good television. Anyway, Dookie Nukie Hudson was interrupted by Steiner, and he says, hit my music. And will we hear what he has to say about Joe Wayne Gacy? He's like, well, you left me in a field. So where was this field? There's only one type of field in the world, right? Was it a field in North Dakota? Was it a field in Maine? Was it a field in Toronto? Was it a field in Cambodia? 19th century Macedonia, like in You Won't Be Alone, a retro or movie that I just reviewed recently. You can check that out if you like. Ooh, maybe it was a field where they can take all the creative staff and have them do a ritualistic sacrifice to themselves, and we can get some better people involved. Sorry, am I hitting the sarcasm drum too hard? Sorry, I just can't help but point out the absolute stupidity of this whole thing. Joe Wayne Gacy shows up in the crow's nest with the Drew. Joe Wayne Gacy, and I mean, I know I keep saying it because his real name is Joe Gacy, but whatever, nevertheless, has something as far as promos and being a creep. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. Why does he have the Druids there? Why do they try to make him a little bit goofy and supernatural and everything? You can make him a cult leader, and that's fine. It worked for Bray until Bray kept fucking losing. And Gacy's already in danger of doing that, but you can't have Gacy beat Steiner. By the way, they're going to have another match, and he says, you lose your temper a lot. And if you lose your temper, you're going to lose the championship. You give it to Joe Wayne Gacy, and you might as well just torch this brand to the ground. The guy's not bad in the ring. I don't mind his finish, the springboard into the lariat. That's fine. But Steiner's clearly the star, but they're going to hotshot him to the main roster. If he is not up on the main roster by right after SummerSlam, I will be amazed. If he ain't WWE champion by Mania 39 or Mania 40, I will be amazed. So, alright, that certainly happened. And Indy Hartwell is actually doing a promo where she's kind of looking at the camera. Amazing. They're letting people look at the camera. Maybe they should do that more often. She's going to go after Mandy because she's tired of feeling sorry for herself. Okay. Then the Viking Raiders make their entrance. Mackenzie Mitchell is with Wes Lee. His match with Zion is done because he's not medically cleared. And I don't know how true this is, how true it isn't. Nathan Frazier offers to face him instead. Okay, flippy shit, fine. That could work. And then the Creed brothers took on the Raiders. So the Creed brothers have Damon Kemp, who is apparently Gable Stevenson's brother, who hopefully did not model his behavior after Gable Steveson. If you know, you know. Fuck your technicalities. He fucking did it, along with somebody else. Not Damon, Gable. But the Creed brothers didn't want Roderick Strong to interfere. Will Strong and Kemp were there at ringside. The Raiders and them had a match that was a lot of power moves and some good amateur stuff, and had the crowd into it, but it also went a bit too long, and it got to the point where I just didn't care. It wasn't that it was bad, but it was a lot like the first match they had. And then Strong tries to interfere again. Julius stops him and gets hit with a double bomb. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, Diamond Mine tension. God forbid. How will I ever live without Diamond Mine fucking existing on my television? There's nothing against the people involved. Stop having Roderick Strong talk. Please stop having him talk. Legoland is backstage. Elektra Lopez, my fucking goodness. Santos wants to face him on his own. And Mendoza says, they locked me in a trunk. I mean, that's fair. They did do that. So, Waller and Stratton Stone are just annoying everybody by simply existing on this program. And I'm not even... Waller can work. It's actually annoying how natural it seems for him to be able to work. And Stratton Stone isn't bad for her, for her level of experience. The characters are just fucking stupid. Steiner was leaving some Sam Roberts sounding fuck, which could have been Sam Roberts, and at least we didn't see him. That's a stupid goddamn moron. Walt Disney's least favorite professional broadcaster. Asks him about facing Joe Wayne Gacy. Dookie Nukie Hudson says, hey, you interrupted me. I'm interrupting you. I want a shot. Fine. How about now? Nah, next week. Dookie Nukie Hudson versus Steiner. Waller versus Andre Chase. I don't know who this was for. I really don't. The Chase University people are there with Saray being the flag girl, and my fucking goodness, this is rotten. What the fuck happened to NXT? And it's not even the Chase on Chase U. It's not even that Andre Chase is bad. I don't care. These characters are dumb. We get this stunner roll, whatever the fuck you want to goddamn call it. Waller gets the victory. Bodie Gunn had been taken out earlier. Oh no. So Gigi Allen and or Gigi Dolan rather. I really shouldn't call her Gigi. She's not married to Darby Allin anymore. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, my fucking goodness, JC Jane, are watching a video where Casey and Katana no longer, Caden and Casey, or Caden and Katana. Sorry, Casey is Katana. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Say they want a tag title shot. Great, good. Let's give children a tag title shot. Mandy over Tan's way too much is what I noted. Roxanne Perez takes on Miss Jones. I'm just going to call her Miss Jones right there because she's basically a sexy secretary from some kind of film I saw online once by mistake. From the look. I'm not saying she actually is. She actually has a good presence, but first we go to Strong yelling at the Creeds and then Deadly Glory basically mock him. And then it's going to be them versus Strong and Damon Kemp next week. Miss Jones isn't bad. Roxanne was clearly going to be the one that got the victory. She did. Even after getting her back worked on for a while. Code Red, the Pop Rocks, which actually is kind of creative. 1, 2, 3. And there you go. So, Idris Enofe and Malik Blade mock Santos and Santos and Tony D'Angelo. And then the Goons show up and challenge them for a match next week. I mean, Enofe and Blade make the most of their TV time. I will give them that much credit. Mackenzie was talking to Roxanne. Cora interrupts and says, she's my girl. It's very stagey, even though I believe they were trying to be genuine. Elektra Lopez, my goodness, she will face St. Elmo's Fire next week, and then knocks both girls. Wesley then takes on Nathan Frazier in a match that had some flippy shit, and then Heavy Metal Von Wagner interrupts. If this stupid fuck does not get off everybody's television, I don't really know why this program's on. I'm sure he's trying. He has size. He also has the personality of a wet fucking blanket. And then he throws Wesley out of the ring onto the announcer's table in a bump that really could have gone wrong. I'm amazed the table didn't collapse, but nevertheless. Wes took the bump. Give him that much credit. And then Sangria apparently was either knocking Wes or just simply sitting there, and Wes is tired of being disrespected, disrewested as it were. And then Nathan Frazier's like, I want no part of this fight, so we're getting the Wesley versus Bottle of Sangria match next week. Next week, speaking of, Steiner versus Dookie Nuki Hudson, Mandy versus Indy, St. Elmo's Fire versus Elektra, and Escobar gets no TV entrance. And then we get a melee in the match with Tony D. He can't find his crowbar because Devon Storm is tired of being hidden under the ring. It's held by one of the members of Legoland Phantasm. The Goons attack. Everybody gets around. Some people get in the ring. And then a load of punch with brass knucks. 1, 2, 3, because Santos had brass knucks hidden in the corner. And they're the dominant family of NXT. That was a 2-hour program that basically didn't have much of anything. But nevertheless, we here at Price is Right Wrestling would like to remind you to control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.